People's judgment has destroyed more dreams than failure ever did. Read that again. Most people are not living the life they want because they're living inside other people's opinions. You stay quiet because you fear being judged. You hide your ambition because success makes others uncomfortable. You shrink yourself so other people can feel comfortable. And the dangerous part? You call it being humble. You call it being realistic. You call it being responsible. But the truth is, it's fear. Fear wearing the mask of logic. You don't realize it yet, but every major decision in your life may already be influenced by people who won't even live with the consequences. The career you chose, the dreams you abandoned, the words you never said, all because of judgment. And this is where most people fail. They think judgment is something to avoid. But here's the hidden truth. Judgment is unavoidable. People judged you when you did too little. They'll judge you when you do too much. They judge weakness. They judge greatness. So if judgment comes no matter what Uhrzeit, why are you letting it control your life? But what most people don't realize about this is what's silently destroying their life. You know this feeling. You want to start something, a business, a channel, a new path, a different life. And then a voice appears. What will people think? And suddenly you hesitate. You overthink. You delay. You wait until the perfect moment. And it never comes. You scroll and watch others becoming who they want to be, while you remain stuck asking permission from invisible critics. And that's the problem. Most judgment you fear hasn't even happened. It lives in your imagination. You rehearse rejection, you predict embarrassment, you assume mockery. And because of that, you never move. This is how people spend years trapped, not by chains, by opinions, by wanting approval, by confusing acceptance with peace. You smile when you want to speak. You agree when you want to resist. You perform a version of yourself people will approve of. And slowly, the real you disappears. And this cycle repeats again and again. But here's the truth. The problem isn't people's judgment. It's the authority you give it that changes everything. Because judgment has no power until you obey it. This is where everything changes. You think people are watching you more than they are. They're not. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves. And those who criticize often criticize because your courage exposes their fear. People judge what they secretly wish they had the nerve to do. They call your ambition arrogance. They call your discipline obsession. They call your standards pride. Because your growth reminds them of their excuses. You don't realize it yet, but many opinions are projections, not truth, projection. And then one day you realize something powerful. The people you feared disappointing were never building your future. You were handing strangers control over a life only you have to live, and that should shake you. Because the problem isn't others. It's your habit of seeking validation. That is the first realization. Freedom begins the moment approval stops being your oxygen. But what happens if nothing changes? Fast forward 5 years. You played small, stayed safe, stayed silent, avoided judgment. And now you look around, and the life you wanted belongs to a version of you that never had the courage to exist. You'll look back and realize your biggest losses were not failures. They were abandoned possibilities. The risks you never took, the words you never spoke, the purpose you traded for approval. And that's when it hits you. People you feared being judged by, they moved on. They forgot. But you live with the consequences. That regret is heavy, not because you lost, because you never tried. And one day, that pain becomes louder than criticism ever was, because wasted potential has a way of haunting people, silently, for years. If this message is hitting you right now, take a second to like this video and subscribe, because sometimes the truth is uncomfortable, but necessary. So how do you break it? not by becoming fearless. By acting while afraid. That's different. Courage was never the absence of judgment. It was moving despite it. You don't need everyone to understand you. You need to understand yourself. The truth is, discipline matters more than approval. Consistency matters more than image. Action matters more than overthinking. Stop asking, what will they say? Start asking, what will happen to me if I keep living this way? That question changes lives, because suddenly the real danger isn't judgment, it's a stagnation. This is where most people fail. They try to change their whole life overnight. But you don't need to change your whole life, just your next decision. Speak once when you begin.